Okay, so nowadays it's not really about education for education's sake anymore, you know? It's all about what I call the four circles of GDP. Basically, these four circles, they're all about making money, pure and simple. That's how the whole world is running. Now, like, globally, this is the system. Think about a super famous school like Harvard. Harvard Business School, right? HBS. Business is right there in the name, so you know it's about profit. Get it? Even the fancy schools you're dreaming of sending your kids to. What's the real goal? Profit. It's not about, like, enlightenment or being a good person, you know, being generous and giving back. So, get this. We spend all this time learning stuff, getting skills, all to fit into some big company or organization. And what does that organization do? It's all about digging stuff up, making tons of new products and then pushing us to buy them, tempting us to consume. And before you even know it, bam, they tell you what you just bought is old news, gotta upgrade. Like, you just got the iPhone 10 and they're already in your face about the iPhone 11, right? Your motorcycle's still good, but they roll out a slicker model and suddenly you're wanting it. Isn't that just playing on our greed? Plain and simple? Think back 30 years. People in Vietnam used to ride a Honda 67. It was a super basic bike back then, and they'd use it for like 30 years. Now, you're swapping out your motorbike every 5 years. Phones? 15 years ago, a phone lasted 5 years. Now 6 months tops. Seriously, think about it. So, yeah, all these new products make money. But what's the trade-off? We're losing our forests, oceans are dying. Because everything we make, it all comes from the earth, you know? We're digging it all up. Natural resources aren't endless. You can't just magic stuff out of thin air. Everything's gotta be dug out of the ground and processed. So, the faster this whole machine runs, the more you see this pattern. First, you gotta get your degrees, then you gotta chase the money. And when you're chasing money, you wanna be on top, right? So you gotta push everyone else down. And how do you do that? You start throwing metaphorical grenades and skulls, meaning you get really cutthroat and aggressive. You walk out your door to buy something and you're instantly worried, is this stuff even safe? You get a bubble tea and you're wondering if it's got, like, 1,000,000 chemicals in it, if it's just basically rubber balls you're chewing on. And let's be real, bubble tea pearls, they're kinda rubbery, aren't they? And so, yeah, the money piles up, but people just get grimmer and grimmer. A whole new set of messed up skills pop up when you're only focused on cash. Lying, cheating, tricking people, even like killing without a knife. Meaning, you hurt people without physically hurting them, you know, through scams and stuff. All these skills just to sell more stuff. And after we're all working for this kind of system, this machine that's running like crazy, where does all that money actually go? Bottom line, is it just about boosting profits at the end of the year? How much did sales go up? Doesn't it feel like the entire education system worldwide is like this now? I'd say 99% of it. Even in civilized countries like the US, it's the same deal. No way to escape it. So, this is exactly what Buddhism calls ignorance, or avidya. It's like not understanding the real deal. And this ignorance, it leads to messed up actions, and actions based on not knowing what's really going on. That's super dangerous. Think about cause and effect karma. Look at this ivory tusk. Picture walking into some crazy expensive mansion worth millions, and in the living room, boom, there's this huge ivory tusk. What's your first thought? You're probably like, whoa, cool. Maybe even snap a pic for Facebook. But that cool feeling today is actually helping destruction happen tomorrow. What about these? Ivory bracelet, little ivory Buddha statue. We buy them thinking ivory is fancy, wood is cheap. But hidden behind that is the reality of how they get ivory. We just see the pretty object, the result, but we don't see the messed up cause behind it. You know, life's like this, it's not always as sweet as we think. Life's stuck in this cycle and it's seriously dangerous. Things look good on the surface, but underneath it's full of bad stuff. And it's not just bad for people, it's bad for all living things. Then you see those giant wooden slabs, we call them Tran in Vietnamese, big wooden platforms people use as furniture, made from huge trees in places like Con Tum, Dak Lak. Up in the highlands, what do people show off? Not TVs, but these slabs of wood. They brag about their fancy salon sets, living room furniture, made from whole tree trunks, carved from one giant piece of wood, saying they chill and drink tea on a 500-year-old tree trunk. But what's really behind that? This is it. Forest completely wiped out, and people look tiny next to these massive tree trunks. Is that civilized? I'm not buying it. I seriously doubt this whole idea of civilization when it leads to this kind of destruction. And then there's that wooden house in Ha Tin, worth 30 billion Vietnamese dong, crazy expensive. Actually, there are two in Ha Tin, one 30 billion, one 240 billion. Both made of wood, tons of forest trees chopped down. And even now, new temples are being built, and they're still chopping down trees. I visited this private meditation center once. I bet they didn't even have permits, probably just doing it on the sly. They had these two massive tree trunks. You needed like 4 or 5 people to wrap their arms around them, to be used as pillars for the place. I asked the owner who'd studied meditation in Myanmar for years, "Aren't you worried about deforestation using wood like this?" He's like, "Nah, this wood's imported, got permits." Permits, I said, but isn't it still deforestation, permits, or no permits? Is that right view, like, ethically sound? Nope. Then he says, yeah, but the permits are for import, from Cambodia, not Vietnam, so Vietnamese forests are safe. It's like we all live in one house, planet Earth, right? And you're saying, well, my room's not being trashed, so who cares if their room is? Where's the ethics in that? See? 5 years of meditation and still missing the point. Cutting down forest anywhere is bad news for the planet, so don't make excuses like, it's permitted or it's in Cambodia. Just lame excuses. Later on, those antique furniture sets, hundreds of years old, those giant tree trunks, hundreds of years old. When you see them at someone's house, be brave and speak up, okay? Wrong things to say are, wow, that slab of wood is amazing. Must be so comfy to lie on. That furniture's so unique. You're a real collector. The right thing to say is, that slab is helping destroy ancient forests. That furniture is part of chopping down old trees just for human pleasure. Pleasure like an animal. Emphasize that. If they kick you out, walk away. No big deal. Just building your backbone, that's all. Seriously. Doing good stuff means facing some pushback, that's the deal. Doing good takes guts. I say stuff like this all the time, no problem. If you say it with a little humor, they're less likely to freak out. You're just giving them a gentle nudge, a little food for thought. Then there's that giant trash island behind the Maldives, that paradise island group. The Maldives, supposed to be even more beautiful than places like Phu Quoc or Ha Long Bay here. But out of their dozen or so islands, like 2 of them are just giant garbage dumps. So, if Earth gets trashed, who's gonna be to blame? Humans, duh. So, are we really the smartest species, or just plain dumb? Gotta rethink that whole civilized thing. Maybe we're actually totally uncivilized. And then, what about those fur coats, those $1,000 animal skin bags, the animal skin shoes you see on the runways in Paris? Oh, she looks amazing. But you're praising something that means hundreds of animals get killed every day in the mountains. People skin them, dry their hides, and send them down to be made into fancy stuff. That's the reality, right there. So, are we taking over the world to protect life, or to trash it? Think about it. Then you realize it's these 4 circles of GDP running the show, not any education for good idea. We'll get into this more later. But it's all driven by greed. So, are we kinda like brothers and sisters to Hitler in a way? Seriously. We're going along with bad stuff without even realizing it, helping it happen. See someone in a fur coat, you nod. Nice. See a fancy wood slab, you say. Cool. See a huge wooden house, you think they're rich and successful. But that's basically being on Hitler's side, isn't it? We're more like Hitler's family than like the Dalai Lama's. Dream on if you think otherwise. Unless we check ourselves, look inside, figure out where we're headed, we're lost. Gotta look at our own hearts and fix ourselves, every minute of every day.